Doesn't Adouria look like she's like, she looks like she's going to like a wellness retreat.
I work at the White Lotus.
No, Piper, no.
Tsunami.
No, Piper. You can't, no Buddhism for you, Piper. You're a white.
Welcome to the White Lotus. We will begin your meditation now. Okay, just close your eyes. Just take deep breaths and dream.
You're a piece of shit.
Dream about the worst place you've ever been to in your life.
You're a leech on society.
Where is the worst place you've ever been? Was it time out? Was it the dentist's office? Was it a garage? Was it the school? Was it wherever it was? Don't even think about it anymore. Just breathe in and out and feel your body move up and down as you think about what a dumb bitch you are.
Some days you just you don't have any thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, some days you come out here to your pulpit of admiring fans, and I know that you guys expect the world out of us, and you know, some days you just can't give the world. I can give Africa, I can give Southeast Asia, but not the whole world today.
I could give Texas.
I have no reason either. Some days you just can't. You have no brain.
Some days you just wake up and you're like, duh, duh.
This was a day that I was meant to like be like sitting in my bed looking at the wall the whole day. That's what the cognitive ability is suitable for right now. Is just looking at inanimate objects.
Washing paint dry.
Yeah, I could do that real good today.
Yeah. I could do literally nothing today.
We got to keep the content farm going.
We're slaves to the algorithm.
Yeah, to feel worthy, we have to monetize our hobbies, and that is the end stage capitalism that we live in right now.
Yeah.
Is that everything is just a constant, like, you know, like a constant excavation of your soul to mine whatever little piece that look at this internet, look at this, look how different we are. But inside, we all know that we're all the same. Like, we have nothing special to offer. We have nothing new to say. I mean, you've seen a million white girl Chinese guy podcasts out there.
Yeah.
But we have to pretend like this is going to be fresh and exciting every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you're just out here wondering what other body part can you make money off of. Right now it's my feet. Am I making any money off of it?
It's a truly 21st century problem.
No.
What body part is the most, like,
will make
lucrative?
Me the most money?
Yeah.
Should I sell my eggs? Maybe. Should I sell my plasma? Yes.
There's an egg shortage.
Yeah.
You should sell your eggs because right now bird flu is a thing.
Yeah. People would enjoy my eggs.
Yeah.
Every morning I am cracked open out of my shell into a sizzling pan, and then the scramble begins. Every day is a scramble to figure out what to say, how to make money, what to sell, who to like, who to be, who am I? Every day is a new day of wondering, am I going to be a sunny side up egg? Or will I be a scramble egg? And most days I feel like a scramble egg. Today I felt like a scramble egg. Nothing could go right. Everything could go wrong. I just want to wake up and be a poached egg some days. But nobody's out here to swirl me in a vat of boiling water and cocoon me within my own egg whites. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
This is a warning to everybody out there that if you're a white woman in her late 20s, you have a very high likelihood of becoming Sylvia Plath, and you should avoid ovens.
I saw a girl's Instagram bio, and her bio was, I'm like Sylvia Plath and a Disney princess combined. And I was like, what a bad... Why?
No,
Why'd you put that?
You were not parented correctly. That's what you are. I'm so negative today. Hey, you can be Sylvia Plath and a Disney princess. Who do you think are the most suicidal Disney princesses?
Listen, it's a beautiful day outside. The sun is shining. Somebody's out there listening to Spanish music, having a good time. There's no reason we can't also have a good time.
Yeah. But you know, some days you want to give TikTok energy, but you're really just giving Tumblr 2018, like sending Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind memes energy. And that's kind of what I'm on today. I don't know about you, but I'm on Tumblr 2018 energy.
I feel like I'm on like
pre-ban of porn, because there's definitely some dirty thoughts in here. There's a couple, you know.
I feel like I'm on eBay energy. I'm just like looking for stuff, looking for random stuff that I don't need, but like it's all got good deals, so I'm putting in my cart.
This is what happens when I go outside, man. I lose who I am.
You lost yourself.
We went out Friday night. That was a lot of fun. I actually didn't. I think I needed a little let loose day. I had 4 drinks and then a part of a joint, and half the time when you get crossfaded, it's like it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. I was sweating. The room was spinning, and the other half of the time, it's only kind of bad. So you're really flipping a coin.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore. I think after the last time I got crossfaded, I was like, never again.
Yeah.
I'm scared that when I close my eyes, I'll still feel nauseous and the room will still be spinning. That's the worst part.
Yeah. And then you're like reliving every fear you've ever had since you were 9.
What's like a song that we could sing to get our energies up?
No,
Jankie, janky, janky, you love me. Sing it. J-A-N-K. Say, fucking sing the song right now, or I'll kill you.
Buddhism.
No.
Tsunami. No. Ibuprofen.
Lorazepam.
Triumphant.
Control is everything
Sky
to
Rizzy,
me.
no,
Whoa.
Piper, Sky Rizzy. Sky Rat, AG1 Piper, no.
All right.
No,
if
Piper.
I just let you do AG1, will you be happy again?
No, Piper, no, AG1. There's not been enough substantial research on the topic. No, Piper. The only supplement that you can actually count on is creatine, Piper. No. Definitely not Buddhism.
And you're not even getting enough protein intake, Piper. That's why you're not gaining any muscle and you're not seeing no changes. It's all about consistency.
It's all about my A1C.
Abs are made in the kitchen.
I want to get on Ozempic.
No.
That's all I got today is that clip of Parker Posey.
No. Showing off her White Lotus accent.
Yeah.
No. No is spelled Neaux. No. No.
She would be good on Traitors.
She would. Hey, what's the new game that you're playing? Is it good?
Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah. How's it
It's
been?
okay. I'm a little disappointed by it, to be honest. There is a little part of me, like, as I get older and older, if I play, like, Pokemon or, like, you know, something that requires you to kill a bunch of, like, large animals, I just start feeling like a white guy safariing in South Africa.
Yeah, hunting big game.
Yeah, like killing zebras and shit. Like, that's what the liberal propaganda has done to my brain, is now I can't even beat up Pikachu. I can't even beat Pikachu's ass without being like, oh my god, is PETA gonna be involved? Pikachu
didn't do anything wrong to me.
I was just training Pikachu. That's what you're supposed to do, is beat his ass. Yeah.
Shove his face in his poop so he knows he can't do that in the house anymore.
What, you're not shoving your Pikachu's face in his own urine?
Yeah.
That's probably why your Pikachu's biting people.
How's he supposed to learn?
No, like, for real, I feel bad. I feel bad playing these games, and like, there's a part in Monster Hunter Wild where you have to like pursue a monster after it's already been weak. It's like, dude, leave me alone. You're good. I'm not gonna fuck with you anymore. And you chase it down and you kill it, and then you use its body parts to make bigger weapons to kill his brothers with.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And it's like a very like natural, like when you first get to the land, it's like a natural wonder.
Oh,
and then the more you stay there, you're all white, by the way. There's not a single ethnic person. All the ethnic people, like you go to a village of like brown people, they don't even know what weapons are, and you show up and you're like, oh, this is a tool for us to, for us to enforce our regime. It's a crazy
colonialism.
game. Yeah, it's a crazy game.
Colonizing.
And then you're giving like the fucking natives beads for all of their valuable resources.
The game's actually not called Monster Hunter. It's called colonialism.
It's called the East India Trading Company.
But you said that the new one, because you played the other one before, the older one, and you said this new one has like justifications for why you're killing the animals to make it better.
Yeah, but it's like, I thought it was going to be a little more deep than just like, oh no, Popper, the monsters are coming and they're fucking up our tents, so we have to end their bloodline. We have to kill all of them. We have to hunt them to extinction because they messed up our camp a little bit. They kicked a little dirt over one of our tents. Aww. So now we must make sure there are no more monkeys.
Oh no. This is a fucked up game.
Yeah.
And speaking of murdering monkeys and death.
It's also crazy because there's a part of the game where you're like killing white Muslims in China.
What?
This entire game takes place in a fictional land, except for China. China is a real country in this.
Is this for real?
Yeah. And then there's like a nation of Uyghurs, which are white, like they're like Turkish Muslims, and they've been put into concentration camps. So it's mostly monster hunting, and then also a little bit of like ethnic cleansing. And I just like I don't know how you guys feel at home, but I don't really like that shit. I think it's overdone.
You think there's enough ethnic cleansing going on in the world?
Ethnic cleansings are hack now. To all the dictators out there watching this podcast,
you're hack.
You're a hack.
You're hack. All right? You're not original.
Come up with a new way to commit atrocities. Okay?
I like that. Welcome back to Sooki Sooki, the world's first Big Brother and Traitors sports podcast.
Yeah.
And today we're gonna cry a river because Traitors season 3 is over. We're going to talk about the finale.
Maybe that's why I'm so like, paralyzed. Is that I don't want this episode to begin.
Because it has to be over.
Yeah. And it was I'm not even watching the reunion yet. I want to savor this season of television. Because what I've been noticing is that every non-reality TV show I've been watching, I've just been feeling like it's so slow.
Yeah.
I'm like reality TV brained. I'm like, why is nobody crying or shitting or pissing this episode?
Why is nobody fighting yet?
Yeah. Like we were watching Severance. That shit, if you spent the last however many months watching nothing but reality game shows and Summer House and Vanderpump, and then you go and watch Severance.
Oh, terrible idea, actually.
Yeah, that's like smoking DMT after you just like spent 3 months like making your brain smooth as hell.
Yeah, yesterday you were really excited to watch Severance, and I didn't want to like kill your excitement by being like, I don't know if I'm down.
It's just, dude, I'm intrigued by the plot, but also like, come on, give me something already.
Give us something real.
I don't need 3 episodes to set up my expectations.
White Lotus.
It is like, it's so hard for me to pivot back and forth between like reality competition shows and then going back to watching like really dense, like mysterious TV dramas.
You know what it is easy to transition between is reality competition shows and regular reality shows. We've been watching Summer House.
Yeah, and then you like, you go from like Traitors where people are experiencing real things and dealing with real problems, like they're like really going through it, like all of their emotions. There's not a single thing that's manufactured. There's no director going, cut. Walton, could you say that a little more quietly with a little bit more grit?
Yeah, we like it when it's real and stuff and people are having real issues. I like when Kyle is screaming about how Loverboy is tanking because he took out a $4 million loan.
Yeah, dude. We want to see real people's lives fall apart in front of our eyes. Real relationships fracturing.
People go to jail and stuff for tax evasion.
You know what?
Yeah.
I don't really believe that Adam Scott hates corporations. I don't believe that.
I feel like he's inside the industry. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he's a cog in the system, you know?
Totally cog.
And you know what? I just don't buy it.
Yeah.
I don't buy it.
He gives cog. C-O-G.
I guess that's a good enough lead in to what we wanted to talk about this week. And when we left off last week, we were at a point where anything could happen, you know? Any number of outcomes could occur. And last we left off, we had a tie at the round table.
Yeah, they left us on a cliffhanger.
They left us on a cliffhanger, and both Ivor and Danielle were in jeopardy. We had 2 votes for Danielle, 1 vote for Ivor, with Brittany's vote not revealed. And we go into this week, and there's a lot of signs that are showing us that Brittany might have fucked Danielle again.
Yeah, because when Dolores revealed her vote, Brittany was like, oh, because at some point they both looked at each other. So Brittany and yeah, so it was hard to know if that was going to be a bait and switch or if that was actually the case and she actually voted. But this week, they concluded the cliffhanger vote that they left us on, and Dolores voted for Ivor, obviously, and then Gabby and Dylan voted for Danielle, and they revealed Brittany's vote.
I just wanted to mention one thing I said as this episode is airing live was that I was of the opinion that if I had found out 5-6 years after this, maybe Cody Calafiore does a tell-all and was like, oh, actually Traitors was completely scripted, wouldn't even change how I feel about it. It would not change how I feel about it because this is just it's theater, you know? I don't even see this as it needs and competitive integrity. I just want to see the juiciest, most messy, most dramatic version of this show possible. And I feel like this season, at every opportunity when people have made a decision that could either make the show more interesting or just kind of fall in line and resign their show to its foregone conclusion, they've done the more interesting thing. You know? Something
you've also said throughout us watching this that has been super hilarious and also true is because how high the emotions are. You have said this before where you're like, I think they're starting to believe that the murders are real.
Yeah.
Because they're so like when Brittany on one episode was talking to Danielle and she was crying and she was like, I was worried you might not wake up today. I was worried that you wouldn't come in. I was worried you were murdered.
Dude, there's going to be a study done on Traitors in 20 years akin to the Stanford prison experiment.
Yeah.
It's oh my God, these people were kind of fucked up. They were actually they
started
believing that they were detectives and murderers. You know, Danielle was killing small animals off screen. Nobody even talked about that.
Nobody
it was crazy.
Asked her.
We thought Andy Cohen was going to cover that for the reunion, but he didn't even bring it up. Yeah. And it just kind of pulls the wool over our eyes. But really, all these people were they were sending out letters in blood and mailing
body parts.
Yeah.
Why do you think we haven't seen Ferguson in a lot of episodes?
Yeah, because they ate him.
They fucking chopped up his body parts, ate the ones with the most nutrition, and then they were mailing out the other body parts.
We're kind of giving away the lead because next season we just learned that the twist for the next season of Traitors is that they're actually going to be murdering people.
Yeah.
But the catch is that they only get one gun with one bullet, so they can either choose to murder people or just kill themselves.
So we'll see how it goes.
We've walked down a really dark path today.
I've
had a really okay weekend. I don't know why this is me. We're just waiting on Brittany's vote, essentially.
Yeah, and she reveals that she votes for Danielle, and Danielle's like, wow, did it to me again. I don't know that their friendship will come back from this. I hope it does. I'm sad, but she was like, I thought everybody was voting for Danielle. And Danielle on her way out was like, saying nice things about everybody. She was like, Gabby, you're hot. Dylan, you're hot. Ivor, you're there. Dolores,
Exist.
your tits are massive. And then she's like, and Brittany, wow. And then she leaves. And does she reveal that she's a traitor, or she doesn't have to reveal it? I can't remember.
She doesn't have to. No, she reveals she's a traitor. Then, so after this point, it's very sad. We give Danielle her flowers. You know, she did as much as she possibly could to turn her game around. Of course, she put herself in a very bad situation herself, but like the amount of maneuvering and you know, like last minute like Hail Marys that she had to throw to try to rescue her game, it was honestly admirable. Even when she and Brittany like mind melded and were like, we're gonna vote for Ivor, that was all like very.
That was crazy.
It was the only thing you could do to save yourself, you know? And it didn't end up working out, but, you know, she tried her darndest. But I think what's funny about this season of Traitors is that it was like a chain event of things that happened, you know? Like Bob the drag queen.
Everything goes back to that
Bob
moment.
the drag queen outed Rob, or so he thought, and Rob took him out, but that put a lot of suspicion on him, and then he gets taken out, and that battle between Bob and Rob lingers in people's minds. And then later on, when Carolyn and Danielle were going at each other, Carolyn goes out, and then the very next week the suspicion is on Danielle.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, it's very Bob and Rob.
Yeah,
the Bob and Rob thing really like started a lot of cracks early on.
Yeah,
like the Traitors could never repair their relationship after that, could never seem to get on the same page, and were always trying to you know, sow seeds of suspicion about each other.
Yeah, and like I feel like this season is an outlier. Had this season not gone the way that it did go, and we actually got to see like a regular season of Traitors play out, maybe a traitor could have won, you know? I don't think it's fair to like judge the state of the game on this season alone, because the Traitors did so much to fuck their own game up.
Yeah, it was messy.
However, you do have to ask the question, is the game too hard for Traitors now? Do they have to do something to kind of pull it back a little bit in favor of the Traitors? Because it does seem like, because people have understood the game a little more in depth, that there's so little you can actually do as a traitor that wouldn't, like, what exactly is your game plan as a traitor?
I don't know. It's just hard because as soon as there's any level of suspicion on you, it doesn't matter how early it is, when it is, like the credibility of the person that it's coming from. Well, that does matter a little bit because we saw Tom say that Dolores was a traitor for weeks and nothing happened to her. But yeah, I just feel like it's so hard once your name is out there to ever be 100% clean. People will always be suspicious of you. It'll never go away.
Yeah, and it's gotten to the point where like it almost seems like because of the lack of information that the faithfuls have, that as soon as your name is mentioned even one time, they're going to close the book on you eventually.
Yeah,
you know?
just to say that like, oh, we did it.
Yeah, eventually they're going to run out of like, you know, just evidence-based suspicions. And they're going to, you know, we were thinking this 4 or 5 weeks ago. Let's just get this out of the way so we can focus on like other people. Yeah.
Which is what they did with the coffin theory, which is what got rid of eventually Nikki and Sierra had to go because people didn't know about them.
So like the game is just infinitely harder for Traitors now because you can tell what the Traitors. How do I phrase this?
You can tell.
Like the Traitors have to play a game. The faithfuls do not have to play a game.
Yeah, they just have to look for clues. But the Traitors, like everything that they do, like is going to lead people closer to. It's kind of like what Bob the drag queen said. Like if somebody can make a puzzle, somebody else can put it together.
Yeah.
Everything that they do is an indication of who is a traitor. So they have to be very careful. The best thing that you could do is just be random and chaotic. But at some point, like, people will still figure it out. It really is just all about relationships, because if you think about it, like Danielle had people thought that she was acting weird for weeks, and nobody did anything because of her relationships in the game.
Yeah, and I think she also benefited from the fact that there were just much bigger fish to fry, you know?
Yeah.
As much as, we try to progress as a society and start viewing women as equals, men are just considered more threatening in this game.
Yeah, there were a lot of like really big male personalities, really like threatening male personalities in like West, obviously, is like, who the two people that do vote for me, I'm coming for you. Everybody else, thank you for not voting for me. And then like men like that, you always like those men do it to themselves. Rob also just too threatening and too smart, like of course. And Derek, detective genius, boy wonder.
I mean, Derek played a clean game, but even like him, like being a faithful, it's like you can't do anything really as a faithful without having some suspicion on you. Because even if your intent is to get out, like you what I don't like about the Traitors game right now is that it encourages inaction, and it encourages people to lay low, not say much.
Yeah, which makes it kind of awkward and a little bit slow sometimes when, the round tables start off and nobody wants to talk because everybody's like, if I talk, then I'm essentially putting my name out there.
Yeah.
But then also, like, if you don't talk, people are like, why aren't you talking? So it's really like there's no winning because I feel like they did at some point come for Brittany. When Rob came for her, it was like, you're not saying anything. And what we all know about you is that you like to yap and you like to talk shit. So, and that was like what was a red flag for Dan Giesling's game too in the last season was people were like, we've seen how you play and you're not playing how you normally play and we're suspicious of you.
It almost seems like as a trader right now, you have to simultaneously be really good at building relationships and you also have to be willing to cut those relationships whenever. Like there's been several times throughout the course of this season where I personally thought that the Traitors were just blinded by their allegiances to certain people in the house.
Yeah.
And like, let's say, I forget which week it is, but there was a week where Rob had an opportunity to kill Brittany and kind of exonerate a little bit of suspicion off of himself.
Yeah, that would have been a good move for him, I think, the week
But then again, you have to convince the other Traitors to go your way. And yeah, I mean, like, again, this season's an outlier because the Traitors were not on the same page and they were actively working against each other. So there was...
Yeah. I think the most important things for the Traitors to have as a traitor is the most important thing that you have to build from the beginning is trust with each other. Because if you don't have that, then, like, I don't know, then you're just trying to
but that's such a house of cards also to me because like there will always come a point where you have to cut a traitor loose.
Yeah, because you're even if you're working well together, you're always going to have it in the back of your mind of like, is this person going to cut me loose for the money? Are they just going to ever come after me because, you never know. So it's hard, but if you're not on the same page, then it's like this is an extra additional battle I have to fight. I have to fight against the faithfuls and the Traitors, which is, I think, what happened this season is like the Traitors were just too focused on fighting each other that it made it hard for them to progress.
And like the only advantage the Traitors have since the beginning of the game is that they have more information.
Yeah.
But when you're at odds with your other Traitors, you're fighting against people who have as much, if not more, information than you.
Yeah.
So it's like basically the game just becomes impossible when you're looking over your shoulder towards your other Traitors and being like, oh, are they coming after me? And also, obviously, every faithful in the house. Again, we have to emphasize this is not a game where you're trying to get the Traitors. It does you no benefit to be a faithful and get a traitor because that puts a huge amount of suspicion on you.
Yeah.
This is, like, the game is all about just making it to the end. So we get through the round table. Danielle is obviously very upset at Brittany.
She go bye-bye.
And, like, if anyone were in her position, I would, like, you'd be salty just because of the history they have. But what was Brittany supposed to do,
Yeah, I think just because Dolores didn't vote for Ivor, it hurts extra because it's like you didn't have to. It could have just, I don't know, then it would have just been another tie, but Anyway, Brittany votes for Danielle. Danielle leaves. Alan then reveals the seer, which is what we were waiting for. And I thought that this was going to have more, like... I thought that he should have revealed it in private, because then it's like anybody can say that they had the seer power and throw blame on anybody.
Yeah.
But he revealed it in front of everybody and was like, Brittany is the seer. Everybody knew that Gabby was going to see her. She really only had one person to see, which was Gabby, because it's very obvious that Dylan and Ivor are faithfuls. Dolores probably just as likely a faithful.
Is it obvious though? Because there was a ton of like people saying that Ivor, or not a ton of people. I mean like Dolores, and I don't really think Danielle or Brittany believed it. I mean, they don't believe it because they're traitors,
because they know.
Like, it's not like he has no suspicion on him. Even Dylan at certain points.
Yeah.
Were like later on in the episode, as we'll get to it, like no one was really safe from accusation, you know?
Yeah. I just think Gabby was probably her best bet because Gabby had the most suspicion on her. So she goes and she sees Gabby, and there's a note in there because Gabby, you know, it's just like, it's not good enough for Gabby to just be like, la la la, I'm a faithful.
Yeah.
So they reveal it on like a gold card, and she's a faithful, and everybody's like, thank God. And
you know, just a quick thought before we move on to the rest of the episode. I think like this might not be the perfect solution, but obviously one of the more powerful tools the faithfuls have in their arsenal is prior knowledge about like previous seasons, you know?
yeah.
And I think like varying the amount of traitors there are going forward could be a good way to, like, let's say instead of having, how many do we have this season? 6? Instead of having 6, have like 10 traitors, you know, but have like 2 groups of 3 traitors who don't know about each other.
Oh.
Yeah.
That would be cool, but then there would be 2 murders every morning, right?
I don't know how they would resolve the mechanics of it, but I think a big issue for the traitors is that they're wildly outnumbered.
Yeah, and it gets harder towards the end of the game, like it becomes very obvious, I think, to people who's a traitor and who's not.
Yeah, and
which we'll see in this episode.
You want the game to work, at least in my mind, you want the game to work that if the traitors cooperate and the faithfuls cooperate, then it would be an equal game. You know? I would hope that is like the control baseline that they're working off of, because right now, if the traitors cooperate and the faithfuls cooperate, the faithfuls have a huge advantage just because how many more people they have.
Yeah.
And there's an element of like, if you're a traitor and you're cooperating with your other traitors and you're doing it too obviously, or I mean, it doesn't even have to be that obvious, but as long as you're voting the same way and one of you is found out, then the rest of you are kind of fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's very stacked in the favor of the faithfuls, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah, and I did think this, like, after the first season, that as the game goes on, it's going to be harder and harder for the traitors to win, just because the faithfuls have knowledge, like you said, of the previous games. And Suri played a perfect game, but also like it was the first season of Traitors, so I feel like she has a completely different advantage than everybody else, whereas now nobody's ever going to have that advantage again. Yeah,
because now people almost operate under like, we can't stay on the same person for too long, you know? We either have to banish them and find out for sure, or just move on to someone else for the time being. So, like, what she did the first season was she just built good relationships and didn't say too much, which is, like, a good tactic. But I just don't know if that'll still hold up in just how, like, twisted the game. I almost wish that the traitors had more ways, like the coffins, to frame other people.
Yeah, because that bought them a lot of time, because people were like, were on Nikki and Sierra for quite a while before they actually closed the coffin lid on that coffin.
Yeah, and I think, like, I love a high risk, high reward. I think it'd be fun to see the traitors going forward be offered a bunch of different ways they could boost their games, but it comes at a risk. Like, there definitely was negative fallout from the coffin twist, you know, like it did buy them a bunch of time, but it also it gave them, it put them at risk to be exposed, if only for a little bit, you know?
Yeah, because there were a couple people that had known that Jeremy was suspicious of Danielle. So him dying put a lot of suspicion on her. But, I mean, again, they obviously got rid of Sierra and Nikki before. But, yeah, so Brittany gets the seer power, uses it to see Gabby. And then it's interesting because we get to kind of see Dylan, our sweet bloodhound Dylan, go through like different like scenarios of what could happen. Like if Brittany says that Gabby's a traitor, I'm going to assume they're both traitors and try to get rid of them. If she says that Gabby's faithful...
I think he said that if Brittany says that Gabby's a traitor, then Gabby is probably a faithful and Brittany is probably a traitor. If Brittany says Gabby is a faithful, then they have to start looking elsewhere.
Yeah, but he did say like, and
then a third scenario presented itself to him as he thought about it, which is that if Brittany says Gabby is a traitor,
maybe
there's a possibility. Yeah, they're both traitors.
If he says that she's a faithful.
Oh, yeah, she's a faithful. Yeah.
Yeah, but he did mention like if she says that she's a traitor, I would just get rid of both of them just to be safe. But so Brittany comes in and is like, well, she's a faithful. And Gabby's like, thank you for that. Thank you. And then Dylan's like, fuck. But yeah, he does think of that scenario of like, maybe they're both traitors and they're in cahoots together. Yeah.
And totally fair, you know, especially because he's had suspicions on Gabby for weeks and weeks now. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Sometimes I think that he's very intuitive and sometimes I think that he's just getting lucky, you know?
Yeah, he's really been we've seen him like vocalize his gameplay throughout it, which has been really cool to just like every day him be like, this is the strategy I have for today. Like he's doing a really good job, I think, of adapting and being flexible.
And playing off the cuff.
Yeah.
And like, it is impressive because at various points throughout the show, he's literally vocalized something we at home have said.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, we're dealing with so much more information than he is. But for him to like selectively deduce certain things in the moment, in the heat of the moment, while he's surrounded by traitors and faithfuls and being pressured every which way, that is impressive.
Yeah.
But he definitely needs to work on how he handles himself at the round table because, like, we can get into the next round table.
Well, what's the challenge from this week again?
The challenge for this week is that all of the faithfuls and traitors remaining in the game, they had to get into helicopters, and then and they have to throw bags of money.
They had to go retrieve the bags of money.
There was a first part. Yeah, there's a first part which was very Deal or No Deal Island-esque, where they have to go into.
They used like a map.
Yeah,
and then they had to put in numbers.
Well, actually, there was riddles.
Yeah,
there was riddles given to them, and then they had to deduce where on the map they should go based on the riddles and find money. And
then they got more riddles, and the answer to a riddle was a number, which was a code to a secret lockbox filled with more money.
Yeah,
and they all had to retrieve money.
And then when they get back to the castle, a helicopter shows up, and they have to get in the helicopter, being dangled under, and
try to drop their money into a small ring of fire in order to double their money.
Yeah. And so they ended up getting some money. I can't really remember if they succeeded or not, but
they got some more monies. Mm-hmm. Some people were able to drop. It seems like everybody kind of did the same thing where the first because everybody had 2 bags tied to them.
Yeah.
So everybody got 2 chances to drop money into the ring and double it. And it seems like everybody struggled on the first round, like they were just trying to feel it out. And by the second round, they were, unless you're Gabby. I think Gabby was the only one who didn't get a single bag into the ring of fire, which is okay. We love you. You're smart. You're pretty. You don't need to drop bags into rings of fire. We still love you.
Yeah, so the challenge happens. Nothing of note really happens in terms of gameplay, except I think there was a little bit more trust built between Dylan and Gabby. Yeah. Will that matter? We'll see.
Yeah.
And so they get out of the challenge, and Brittany is kind of on an island, and I was impressed by how much like pick it upness she had, because she was obviously distraught after Danielle got banished because she felt like she betrayed her.
Yeah.
But she kind of just dusted off her bootstraps and was immediately like back to gameplay. Now I'm going to try to frame Dylan.
Yeah, she dried her tears and then was like, okay, what's next? Who do I have to get rid of? Dylan. Which I feel like obviously she couldn't really backtrack and be like, oh, Gabby, because she'd already revealed that Gabby was a faithful, so that would look suspicious. But yeah. I do think Gabby probably would have been her best bet just because, she could have seen Ivor because she voted for Ivor, so it's like, why not rule that out and then throw suspicion on Gabby because people are already kind of suspicious of Gabby. Dylan was suspicious of Gabby.
Do you think who she would have selected for the seer power would have impacted suspicions, though? I feel like Gabby is one of the more guilt-free options because everyone kind of suspects her a little bit. There's no one who's 100% on her.
But I think nobody would have faulted her if she had said Ivor because she could be like, I voted for him. I still have suspicion on him. So may as well just rule this out for myself.
Yeah.
And then
you're right. Her not choosing Ivor at the previous, for the seer power, considering that she voted for Ivor on the previous roundtable, is a little suspicious in it of itself.
I just think she would have had an easier time, which we'll obviously get into and discuss the roundtable. Mm-hmm. I think she would have had an easier time framing Gabby and getting Gabby out. I think that was her best chance at staying, is if she went for Gabby versus Dylan. And we see it, and we can talk about the roundtable now. She makes a very good case against Dylan. Even Dylan was like, I'm not going to come out of this unscathed. Either I'm going to get banished or, I'm going to be safe, but there's still going to be suspicion on me.
Yeah, let's go through it step by step. So they get to the final roundtable. Mm-hmm. And again, for the past 4 or 5 weeks now, no one's wanted to speak up. And I think this is one of the things production have to look at as the Traitors production is how do we encourage people not to be scared.
And obviously production makes it feel worse because the roundtable is 2 hours actually. So they stretch out all of those silences when we're watching it. It just feels slower, more quiet, more uncomfortable when you're watching at home.
Yeah, but I think there's a couple of, throughout this season, this was an excellent season of television, but throughout this season, I feel like a couple of things really became apparent to me, which is that, I said earlier, the game as it stands encourages inaction, which I think is not, if you hadn't had all of these big characters and you hadn't had all these people who are willing to, stab each other in the back and make big moves, this season could have been really boring because if you just had a bunch of people who weren't used to gameplay, who weren't used to, putting themselves at risk to try to justify their ends or try to get the result they want, I feel like if I were in the castle, I would have just been I don't know how to move, you know?
I think the most important thing that we've seen in this season, obviously there have been I've enjoyed every season I've watched, but this season it's on its own.
Yeah.
And I think the most important thing for production is having the right equation of personalities, because you have to have somebody like Wes who is just so cocky because he's won so many things that he's willing to do stuff. Somebody like Rob who's just a genius and gonna make moves at the whim of when he needs to. Somebody even like Tom Sandoval, who's just a fucking idiot and who wants to talk about his new theories every day that you have to have a Sandoval now.
Yeah, and I think this season thrived based on their cast, but it did not thrive based on how they set the show up. Because I feel like if you cultivated a better environment for both traitors and faithfuls to target other people, I don't know how you would go about this. I really don't know how you would go about this because
I feel like they should do something like the Shield or just maybe change it so that you can be safe from banishment.
Yeah.
Because that would encourage somebody to speak up if the shield keeps you safe from both murder and banishment, because then it's like, okay, I can say what I want to say and know that nobody can come.
But then you create the problem of like a comp beast kind of steamrolling the entire show.
Yeah, and also like somebody's going to remember that and bring it up as soon as you're not safe at a round table.
Exactly.
I don't really know.
I think something like the veto is an interest. Like Big Brother didn't start out having the veto.
Yeah.
And the introduction of the veto was a really great way to allow people to play the game bigger.
Yeah,
more
like back doors came into play.
Right. They're like the shield essentially is the HOH.
I think the only way for people to speak, at least how the game is right now, is like you just have to make sure that there's enough big personalities in there that are all talking about each other, because the only way somebody has ever spoken up immediately at the round table is if they're like, oh, I already know so-and-so's coming after me, so I need to speak first and get ahead of it. Like Dolores, when she was like, Tom, you're talking about me, I want you to speak and I don't want you to be nervous because whatever you're going to say is not going to make sense. Like you just have to already know that somebody's coming for you.
It's just like such a tough thing to come up with a solution for, because the reason why the show is great is because of all of the mystery and all of the wrong guesses, all of the twists and turns. But also that is the thing that kind of makes the show really, do we care about the Traitors having an easy time? I personally care, because I would like
want them
it
to have an easy time, but I don't.
Not easy, but like easier. Like
I don't want this to be a show where it's only faithfuls winning. You know, I want to see. Like I really thought Carolyn was going to make it to the end. That's the other good thing about this season, is that it's given us so many. Like we go into it thinking we know what's going to happen, and then the opposite happens. Like I thought Gabby was going to go home in the episode before, and then it ended up being Danielle, and they were voting for Ivor. Like that came out of left field.
Yeah,
but I don't know, because then it's also like if you speak too much, like in the first season, that random girl Geraldine, right? She was like, oh, so-and-so's a traitor. And then everybody voted for her and she went home immediately. And then their suspicion was on the person that they thought was a traitor. But like it's hard to have a balance of like laying low and playing the game enough, because if you play the game too much, everybody's like, what are you doing? Why are you playing so hard so fast?
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because I feel like because how you play the game as a faithful and how you play the game as a traitor is so different, like it's just a tough riddle to solve, because you do want.
Because as a traitor, here's the other complicated thing. You also have to be playing a faithful game.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to play two games. You have to play a traitor game and you have to play the faithful game, because you have to be doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, or else suspicion on you.
Yeah. So I would love, the one thing that I think would definitely help is just giving the traitors more ways to frame faithfuls. Giving them more like compelling ways. Beyond just, hey, this person threw your name out. Yeah,
like some sort of like, ooh, like a clue was left in this secret room and we don't know who it's by, but we suspect it's by this person because it has their name on it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like the first season. I think it was the first season that Kate was on when she had that note from Brandy, because they were trying to figure out, they were literally writing down.
That was she did that all on her own.
I know, but like something like that, because then somebody found the note and was like, this fell out of Kate's pocket, Kate's a traitor, and was trying to go after Kate for weeks. I feel like something.
Yeah, if the traitors
like
had an opportunity to do something like that, if they were given like, what I always thought was, or what I mentioned earlier that I thought would have been interesting, is if the final recruitment wasn't an ultimatum. That would have been more interesting.
Yeah, I think a non-ultimatum would be good, because now essentially everybody who gets recruited is just forced to be a traitor.
Yeah, and also you're getting down to the point, like I feel like the reason they made it an ultimatum is that they didn't want the faithful to go out and reveal who the traitor that tried to recruit them was. Have it be face-to-face, but I think the game at that point was in such a late game stage that anybody who came out of that would have thought twice about even saying anything at all,
Yeah, I think also, like, it prevents the Peter situation where Peter was like, I got recruited, here's the note. Like,
yeah.
Or they tried to recruit me, here's the note, I said no. I don't know.
I feel like you could just have it be like that, because let's just play out the scenario how it would happen. You know, so Danielle tries to recruit Brittany. Let's say Brittany says no and it wasn't an ultimatum. She would then go into the next morning being like, I don't even really know if I should mention that I was almost recruited, because people are already suspicious of me. It's my word against Danielle.
Yeah.
And I think like introducing lots of cool decision-making points like that, where it's like you could go and reveal who the traitor is, but it comes at a downside of like now you have a bunch of eyes on you.
Yeah, it's also just all about credibility in this game. Like whose relationships are stronger, whose words stronger, like
but it's
kind
not
of like what Dylan thought when Gabby and Brittany, when she did the seer power, and he was like, oh, they could both be traitors.
Yeah.
And they could be working together. They could have cut a deal with each other to keep each other safe.
Yeah. I think giving the traitors more tools like that, where it's unclear who, like, don't ever announce who has the power ever again. Alan Cumming, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I'll kill you.
We'll come to Scotland, to the castle that you actually don't own, and kill you.
Yeah, literally.
What's
You're a
that about?
fucking phony.
No, we're just...
AC.
No, I love you.
You're a phony.
I love you. Please, I wish you would do Cabaret again. I love you. Please, I love you. I loved you in Spy Kids and Josie and the Pussycats. I love you.
That could actually be a fun discussion topic that we can do later on, is just like a couple of amendments to this season that we think could make it more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if they're going to have the seer power is interesting, but I think whoever has it needs to be told in secret, and whoever is getting seen needs to be also summoned in secrecy, because then it's like nobody knows who got it, and it's everybody's word against each other's.
Yeah. And like we talked about this before this seer power was even like revealed how it works, but like if the seer power worked how we just if the seer power worked anonymously, like Brittany got the seer power and then nobody knew that Brittany had it, and she summoned somebody and nobody knew who she summoned. If Gabby came into the thing the next morning and was like, "Oh, me and Brittany talked," like no one knows if she's telling the truth.
Yeah.
And then if Brittany was to say like, "Oh, I talked to so and so," like she could have been like, "I talked to Dylan and he is a traitor."
Yeah.
Like who would say? And then Dylan would obviously be like, "No, she did not talk to me."
Yeah. Also, why would Gabby?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think it needs to be more in secret, because then it just kind of makes everything he said, she said, and it makes it more like, oh, I just have to go on like what my gut feeling is, you know? Which
yeah, it gives the traitors more agency.
And honestly, like, it makes it easier for the traitors, because we went into this round table, which now we can talk about the last round table, and like the vote ended up being unanimous. We saw Brittany plead a really hard case for why she thought Dylan was a traitor. And I honestly was like, dude, she might have just done it. She might have gamed so hard that she got him out. But at that point, I think everybody was already like suspicious enough.
And I think Danielle inadvertently kind of doomed all the traitors.
Yeah.
Because not only did she take Brittany down with her, but she set up in people's minds that traitors attack.
Yeah, she did say that. When she was trying to go for Carolyn, she looked at Dolores and was like, traitors always start the conversation off and they always attack.
I mean, that's such a good point, because what are you supposed to do as a traitor? You can't just stay quiet. You're in danger.
Yeah.
So you have to say something to try to improve your position in the game. But once Danielle said that, it kind of clicked in everyone's minds. Like, if you're faithful, you don't want to talk.
Yeah, and something like, I think Dylan brought this up, but everybody agreed that they were like, how come Danielle said something nice about all of us and not you?
Yeah.
Which obviously, like, there's different history there. If I was Danielle, I'd probably be like, fuck you too, to everybody. To just the one person that now screwed me over twice. Oh my God.
You could read it as that, but they were going off of so little that any little like smells like traitors in here.
Yeah, so it was kind of crazy. because too, like Dolores was like, I still feel suspicious of Dylan, and she voted for Brittany as well. It was just like Brittany watching herself die, like as everybody flipped over their votes, she was just like, oh.
Yeah, she was like in front of a 14 gun firing squad, and they were firing off their gun each. And then she just had to sit there and look at them, all her friends killing her.
It was a slow and painful death. And then when she left, she didn't have to reveal that she was a traitor, so she was just like, fuck you guys, basically.
Did she say that?
I can't remember exactly what she said, but she was just like,
I think she was like very nice about it, wasn't she?
No, I think she walked out upset as to not
I do
as
remember.
to not indicate that she is a traitor. She was just like, I hate you guys. I can't remember exactly what she said, but it was something like, man, you guys.
Yeah.
Man. Well.
Shucks, you guys. You scallywags.
Yeah. And now we get to the end of the episode, which is the most exciting, where now it's time for the money part. So everybody has to put a thing in a bag, and then Alan Cumming is going to throw it
One
into
last
the fire.
thing I want to say about how hard it is to be a traitor. You have to lie so often that, like, let's say you aren't a built-in liar. At a certain point, you're going to get to a point where you're saying some shit that you would never be okay with saying in real life. And I think that's got to add an additional element of, like, psychological stress.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that Danielle had to bring real emotions into her argument about why she's not a traitor while being a traitor, I'm sure that's, like, fucking her up on some level. And at a certain point, you just kind of lose your battery to even do that. You know?
I would be exhausted.
Yeah.
Don't ever make me a traitor, Alan Cumming. I
would never be a good
I would be a
traitor.
bad traitor. Yeah. I think another stipulation that I think that they should make to the show is this last part where everybody has to put a thing in a pouch, and then Alan Cumming throws it into a fire to reveal if they want to banish again or if they want to just end the game.
Let's talk about that when we get there.
Aren't we there now?
I wanted to say one last thing.
Oh, okay.
So we were just talking about the last roundtable, and you know, sad to see. Bang. One of my last ponies has now perished.
Now we each have one pony.
I think she would have been a great traitor had she been in from the beginning.
Yeah.
But the circumstances around her getting recruited almost led to her banishment. Like, I don't want to hammer this point too much, but Danielle recruiting Brittany was one of the fucking dumbest things she could have done.
Yeah, but I don't blame her, because it was like, you just, like, after arguing with all the traitors for X amount of weeks, you just want to work with somebody that you trust 100%.
Oh, and look where that got her.
I know. Egg on her face also. She's also a part of the
Look where that
scramble.
got her.
Yeah. I just think, like, it's hard. I don't know. I really don't think, there was a good choice for her, but
also,
she had
you know
to
what have
recruit.
been Dylan was getting kind of like eaten alive at that last round table. You know what would have been a good argument? Yeah, I don't have a good argument for why I'm a faithful. Why would I have to if I'm a faithful?
Yeah. So meta.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
That's the first thing I thought
Save
of when they were arguing. When she was going in on him, I was like, the best counter argument you can say is like, I shouldn't be prepared.
Yeah, I'm not
why
prepared.
would I be prepared?
Because I'm not a traitor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I was dying when Danielle was going in on Gabby, and she was just listing off reasons why she was a faithful, and then Gabby just kept going, same.
Yeah.
Same. Oh my God, same. I was freaking dying.
Yeah, like
that was the best way to respond.
I can't believe no one's made that argument so far. Is that like if you are giving a good argument for why you're faithful, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Because you've thought about, if you are giving a good argument for why you're faithful, I think you most likely have considered the outcome that people start accusing you, and that already is enough.
If you're prepared for people to accuse you.
Yeah, exactly.
Suspicious.
So Brittany goes home and now we get into what's it called? Torch of Truth or something?
It's like the fire of truth or
yeah,
something.
the fire
I don't know.
The fire of the season finishing.
It's the point in the game where now they have to choose if they want to banish again or if they're ready to end the game and find out everybody's real identities.
And as Alan said earlier in the season, nobody has to reveal whether they're a traitor or faithful anymore. So at this point, it's kind of like just a Mexican standoff.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get any additional information from making banishments. So essentially, if you're banishing, you're just saying fuck you.
Yeah, you have no real
yeah.
idea. Something I wish that they would do is when everybody has to put their things in the bag, and then Alan Cummings throws it into the fire to reveal if everybody's going to vote or banish again. I wish that we didn't know. Because he's like, oh, Dolores has chosen to end the game. Dylan, end the game, blah, blah, blah. I wish we didn't know who. Because then, like, that also adds an element of, like, extra information that they don't know, making it easier for the traitors if there are any traitors left. Like, yeah. I guess the traitor would always vote green. But I just think that, like, we should not be able to know who votes what, because in the event that somebody does vote to banish again, it's more suspicion on, like, oh my God, somebody voted to banish again. Like, who are they coming for?
It's interesting, though, because if you do make it anonymous, it removes a huge hurdle for traitors, which is that, like, I think that most traitors, if they're at the end,
they're going to vote green.
Yeah,
because they just want to win.
So, like, it doesn't really make a difference to me if it's anonymous, because if you vote to not end the game, then you make yourself look like a faithful. But if you vote to end the game, then you could, like, it's a toss-up. It's not like it's a damn...
It doesn't add anything. I just think more things should be anonymous.
Anonymous.
You know?
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely don't think it would be a bad way to do it. I just don't know what it would add. Because I feel like most people have their minds made up by that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think anything outside of, like, a astoundingly suspicious action would make them change their mind.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we don't have to dilly-dally any further. They go to the final banishment. They make it seem like there's still a lot of suspicion on Dylan.
Yeah, like Dolores is like, I still really suspect Dylan. I really suspect him a lot.
Yeah, like the way they left the round table was that, like, Brittany was clearly the traitor, but she left a lot of wounds on Dylan's game.
Yeah, and Dylan was like, I don't know if I am good. I don't know if I came out of this good. I'm fucking scared, man. And they really dragged it on to, like, so slowly revealing everybody's votes and then getting to Dolores. And Dolores kept freaking making faces every time Alan threw something in the fire. She was just like, oh, ooh, oh.
Yeah.
Like, she kept making faces.
Let's go through it one by one. So I believe Dylan was the first vote.
Yeah.
And of course he votes to end the game because he's scared at this point. You know, he's shaking in his boots. He's like, if I don't end the game right now, I might get banished.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter because it's not like they have to vote again. Or I'm getting ahead of myself. So Dylan votes to end the game. And then we get to Gabby and we're like, oh, I don't know. Is she suspicious of Dylan still? She votes to end the game. And we get to Ivor and we're like, ooh, I don't know. Is he suspicious of Dolores? I don't know. He votes to end the game. And then we get to Dolores, who's the person we're most unsure about because she's both suspicious of Dylan and also she at one point was suspicious of both Gabby and Ivor.
Yeah, and she just kept making faces every time. Like she was like, oh.
Yeah.
Like indicating that she voted red.
And at this point, I'm so accustomed to how this show is edited and produced that I was like, she's going to vote green. They're just fucking milking this shit. You know?
Yeah, you're right. I really thought she was going to throw red, and I was just like, ooh, he, good. Yeah. Then your last pony will go, and it will just be me.
No, luckily that did not happen. Luckily we tied in the horse race.
Yeah, so nobody does anything.
She ends the game, and all four faithfuls reveal their faithfuls, and la-di-da, everything is great.
Everybody's kissing and making out and fucking, and then like Alan Cummings doing a dance number from Cabaret.
He's filming in the corner and also jerking off. And it's a real sexy finale. Real risk they took having everybody get naked and have sex, but really paid off.
Really adds to the show, actually.
Yeah.
Because there's kind of like a weird tension throughout that things are kind of sexual.
Yeah.
And so then to finally break the tension and have an orgy, like really nice for the viewers at home because it feels like we've been having blue balls for X amount of weeks.
Yeah. And we were at home, we're coming and shitting, and it was a real magical Christmas Eve.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
But yeah, this season was great. I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about all the things that were like a little bit maybe not optimal, but overall, this was one of the most compelling seasons of reality TV I've ever seen.
I feel like we've also been really spoiled to come from like the last season of Big Brother that we had, which was an excellent season, to an excellent season of Traitors, that like there's just a different bar now for reality TV.
Well, yeah, and I think like the way reality TV works now, I don't think we're okay with just having a bunch of drama with no real relationships to anchor it, you know?
Yeah, it has to be authentic.
Yeah. And like, this is a little aside, but we're currently watching the new season of Summer House, and I like it, but watching the old seasons, there was like a more tangible feeling of all of these people are actually friends. They love each other. And that's like, I feel like it's definitely tough to keep the sincerity of those friendships as a reality show goes on.
Yeah, because people grow
apart.
up and grow apart, and I think that's what.
Also, money and business enter into the equation, you know?
Yeah, that was the downfall of Vanderpump, and why it was
That was the downfall of Vanderpump.
That's why it was so compelling in the beginning, was because it was like this cesspool of like people working together, fucking each other, and being friends and hating each other. It was so authentic, and then towards the end it was like, these people only hang out for a show, which is fine if you're like, I'm just about my bag.
Yeah.
But just like, okay, then say that. Say you're just about your bag, because we'll like that more than you pretending like this is all still real.
Yeah, and I think if this season of Traitors proved anything, is that like if you bring in people with pre-existing relationships, sparks are gonna fly. Yeah. It felt like this entire season was like a 4-act Shakespearean tragedy.
Yeah.
Centered around Brittany.
It was
you
crazy.
said that. Yeah, centered around Brittany and Danielle, and we all saw the conclusion coming. But it was still surprising when it happened.
Yeah, and every week I was like, that was the craziest week I saw. No, fuck, that was, I did not see that. Every week I was surprised by something. By the end of it, I think we could be like, the last episode I was like, oh, they're really pushing for Gabby, which means I think Gabby's not going to go home.
Yeah.
By the end of it, you could kind of tell. I think how you know a season of reality competition show is good is if it's not predictable until the very end, which is what happened in the last season of Big Brother and what happened in this season of Traitors.
Yeah, because you really didn't know about the last season. That was such a good season of Big Brother.
Yeah.
But I think like they definitely knocked it out of the park, inviting people who have pre-existing. I mean, even earlier on, like some of the less plot significant things, like Carolyn having to murder Jeremy, and I had to kill my family. I didn't want to kill my family. My family. I don't even really like my real family. He's a congressman and he's representing farmers' rights, but we just never see eye to eye because I have a lot of plastic surgery. Yeah, and you know, Tony being like, you're a sellout. All of these moments are so good because these people already know each other.
Yeah.
And this is a little sick, but I do like the notion that these people are leaving the game with trauma.
Yeah. I mean, when you leave Big Brother, I think this is true. This is what I've heard, is that they immediately send you to like some kind of psychologist because you've been isolated for 100 days. You have no idea how to act. And also, like, you're going into the house not famous. You're coming out of the house with like a certain level of people know who you are now. Like, not everybody, because Big Brother's still kind of niche, but like 100,000 people might know who you are.
Yeah. So, good job, NBC Universal.
Peacock.
Yeah, but NBC Universal owns Peacock.
Peacock, I love you.
Peacock, you're great. And we're going to do a little send-off for this season. We love you.
In the arms of an angel. Can I mention a funny thing that I heard Alan Cumming say on an interview?
Yeah.
He was talking about the banishment where it was Wes going home.
Sorry, one second. Go ahead. Say it again.
It was the banishment where Wes went home. It was that episode.
Mm-hmm.
And they're at the round table, and Alan is sitting. Sorry,
At the round
I just
table.
keep accidentally slipping into accents. Alan was sitting in the back, and Alan was like, at this point, it's obvious that it's Rob, right? And I'm sitting in the back so I can see what some of them write for some of their votes. And somebody wrote Wes, and I'm just like, and then I just hear in my ear, Alan, your face, Alan, your face, your face. Because they're like, dude, you can't make faces at people because then they'll see and they'll know.
Yeah. Oh, man. Alan Cumming almost slipped up.
He also is at heart, though, just a theater kid. So I'm sure it's hard for him to, conceal what he's really thinking.
Yeah, and I do like that he's, a fan of the show, and he is emotionally invested on some level,
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great season of Traitors. We're going to milk this season for as long as we can. So we're going to have a couple of more interesting, fun little discussion topics coming up in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
And yeah.
We're not ready to stop talking about it. And you're not ready to stop listening. You're welcome.
And, for those of you who are watching, if you have something that you would like to see us discuss, comment down below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on LinkedIn.
Sorry, burp.
We need the connections on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I need.
We're trying to get a job at Barstool Sports.
Yeah, we need jobs. We need a job.
Yeah, and that does it for this season. And we're going to be diving into the reunion next week. We're going to talk about all the drama that unfolds during that, and stay tuned for that. And without any further need for seriousness, we're gonna play a little. We're gonna play some stuff.
It's game time. It's so funny to watch Colgate because he's got such snappy head jerks. Like earlier, he was laying down and then he heard you say seasons and his head went.
I have lots of opinions on seasons.
He's like, I was also watching Traitors with you and I would like to contribute. Or he keeps seeing this big ass fly around, so sometimes he'll just be like this.
Did he do that?
He's trying to get it. Look at
his little suspicious face.
He just looks so cute right now.
I know.
I love him. He had a good walk. He got a treat. Everywhere we go, he gets treats.
All right, let's get into our first game, and it's going to be you.
Oh.
No, it's going to be me. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. Let's play some stuff.
Yeah.
Let's play some stuff. Let's play with ourselves.
Yeah, I love doing that.
All right, first up, we're going to be guessing, or not we, Adouria is going to be guessing the traitor based on their outfit.
Woo!
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show a little square that shows a little piece of a traitor's outfit. This is going to be tough, by the way. Just warning you. It's going to be a tough game.
I did not take the SATs. I did not take the ACT.
Okay.
Or the SAT. I did not take the SAT or the ACT.
First up, we got this little thing. Who's that? Who's that?
Kind of a hint.
No.
The fuck? I don't know because I feel like I saw that on so many different bitches. I feel like it definitely looks like it's some sort of chic windbreaker, chic coat, chic trench coat, chic. I feel like it could be a girl, but it could also be a guy. Or
really?
It could be somebody in between.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Okay. My first guess. How many guesses do I get?
You can have 3 guesses.
Okay, my first guess is Ivor.
Nope.
For my next guess, I'm guessing Sierra.
Nope.
Fuck. For my third guess, fuck. Can I know if it's a boy or a girl?
Nope.
God damn. For my next and final guess, and if I get this wrong, then I have to get tossed out the window.
Yeah. Who is it?
Is it Sam?
Is that a titty or a peck? Oh, is that your guess?
Yeah.
Sam? It is not.
Who is it?
It is Robin.
All right, now I have to go in the soup.
All right, next up we got... Wait, let me open it first. Next up we got that.
It's a pin?
Yeah. It's like a pocket brooch.
I Okay, my first guess is Sandoval.
No.
No? Okay. Fuck. That was all
Hey,
my
this
guesses.
is one of those games, if you go for 0 for 5, I wouldn't even think any different of you. Every other game where you've been bad, I've definitely respected you a little less. But this is a game where, like, anyone could fuck up.
Okay, my next guess is Chriselle.
Chriselle? No.
Yeah. Oh. Fuck! My next guess is fucking goddamn it. Bermuda Triangle. No, my last guess is fuck. Is it Carolyn?
Nope.
Oh.
It is Boston Rob.
Is this a reunion? Oh, okay. This is their wedding outfit.
Sorry, let me zoom out.
Oh, he looks so good here.
He does. All right, next up we got this.
Is that blue?
Yeah. What do you mean is that blue? The fuck do you mean is that blue?
Okay. I really feel like I remember this outfit, but also I don't. So my first guess is Alan Cumming.
No.
Okay.
What's next?
Fuck. Is it Carolyn?
No.
Who the fuck wore this color ever?
I thought this would have been a gimme, actually.
I don't remember. Oh, is it Bob the drag queen?
It's Bab the drag queen.
Oh my god, thank God. Okay, yeah, that's his. I was trying to remember.
It's Bab. It's the first outfit he wore.
I got there though. I got
Okay.
there. I
Look
got
away,
one.
look away,
I got
look away,
one.
look away,
I
look
got
away.
one. I got one.
Look away.
I got one.
Look away.
I'm not looking.
All right, next up we got
Oh, okay. I know this one. Sierra.
Nice.
I remember that hat. Girl, she looked good.
Yeah, she looked like a fucking dominatrix pilot. All right. And lastly, we got...
I can't tell what that is.
It's fur.
Is it Dolores?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like she makes the most sense. Yes, I got her.
It is Dolores.
I got 3.
Catania.
I did pretty good.
You did. You actually did much better than I expected.
I did much better than I expected.
Yeah. I figured, like, we usually do a version of this game where we are looking at body parts, but with Traitors it would just be too obvious because everyone's famous.
Yeah.
All right, that was fun. What's the game you're presenting? Present me with a game.
Fuck. I came empty-handed.
Are you for real?
No. All right. Next, Tian's gonna be blind ranking Gabby's best lines.
Ooh.
The blind rank.
I have a lot of opinions about Gabby Windy's best lines, and you're gonna hear them.
The first line: "They always come back. Mark my words, girls. They always come back." That was a more recent one.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, that's all right. I think she has better ones. It's not like horrible, but then again, nothing she says is anything short of entertaining. I'm gonna give this 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Next line: "I am biased. There is a double standard, and that's okay." This was about men, about her wanting to accuse all
5.
men.
This is 5.
You already put 5.
No,
you
there's
can't.
2 5s.
No, there's not.
There's 6.
What do you
6.
rank it really?
She's telling lies.
No, actually rank it.
She's telling
no,
lies
she's
about
she's
whole...
being nice. She's being nice, saying that there's a bias, that she knows she has a double standard because she hates men.
No, she loves Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I'm giving this a 6.
No.
4.
Okay. Okay. "I love smoked salmon. I love the pickles on the side. I love goat cheese, and I love talking shit."
Relatable, but not that iconic. Makes me want a bagel. It's scoring high in the makes me want a bagel category.
Yeah. Blind rank Gabby's lines and how much they make you want a bagel. That's our next week.
1. No, just kidding. I am gonna give this a 3 because I know what's coming up.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Next line: "The rowing isn't as hard." I feel like I have to have all this context for her couple lines.
Yeah.
"The rowing isn't as hard as the men think. They think you need 50 pounds on each arm. I've been to Pilates. It's all about technique, people."
2.
Okay, for your
It's
last
scoring
one.
high because of how early on it was, and it was a perfect entry into like who Gabby is. She is sassy, she hates men, and she does Pilates.
Yeah.
Those are her 3 defining characteristics.
Yeah. For your final line, the men just left us, the mother of their children,
One.
the voice of reason left for dead.
Obviously one. I knew that was coming.
Did you?
I knew that was coming.
What line
Okay,
did
I'm in
you-
your goddamn head.
Is that really the line you thought was coming?
Yeah, that's what I was saving one for.
I feel
And yet
like-
again, another perfect list. Every time I blind rank, it's like I'm ranking them based on already knowing what the fuck is coming
I think
next.
I would have put the double standard line higher and the smoked salmon line higher because I love how she was just like listing all the food that she likes and then she was like, and I love
I put the
talking
smoked
shit.
salmon 3 and I put the double standard 2.
You put the double standard 4.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You
Did I?
literally went
Oh, yeah,
5,
you're right,
4, 3,
I
2,
tried to
1.
put it 6.
You went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah, sure. Of course, you were going to put that line second, okay? Because you're all about the female propaganda machine.
Yeah, I hate men. I'm in my men hate era. If you're a man, I probably don't like you. And I like you.
But it's because I'm a boy.
Yeah. Because you make me giggle and you feed me.
Make you tee-hee.
You make me hee hee.
All right. And last up, we're going to be guessing. What is it?
Guess the Traitors. What kind of parent?
Oh. And last up, we're going to be guessing what kind of parent the Traitors player would be. What kind of parent would Sam be?
An absent one.
You think?
I just feel like I just get the sense that like he's moving around a lot. So I just feel like he would like pop in for birthdays and then leave.
And you know what? Whoever his kid is probably loves him way more than their mom, even though he's so absent, you know?
Yeah, that's what I did with my dad. I was like, you're never around. I love you.
Yeah, tell us more about that.
And now he's dead.
He's going to be a dead parent.
He's a dead parent.
He's going to die.
I feel like, or he's like a really scary type of parent where he's just really quiet, but you know his expectations are really high.
Dude, I gotta say, I have the complete different read on him. I feel like he's gonna be like a really soft dad. Like he's gonna be one of those dads who's just like very like taciturn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I feel like he'll give like good advice, but he doesn't really talk too much. He's not like really a disciplinarian. He's one of those dads who's perpetually reading the New York Times.
I feel like he's like a dad from the 50s that's like the wife does all the work and he's just like quiet and he sits
Yeah,
there.
exactly. He reads the paper.
But I feel like that's a scary bad dad. Is a dad that like doesn't vocally participate.
I think any time where we have a man who doesn't talk, it's a win.
You know what? I like that line of thinking. Men should never. That's it. Just don't do anything. Just stop.
Like me. I did one thing and it almost ruined my life.
Okay, who's next? Dorinda.
Dorinda? Dorinda's definitely a tiger mom.
I feel like she should never be a mom. I feel like she should just be an aunt.
I don't know though, because I feel like she is the type of lady who produces like just the next generation of Dorindas. You know, you need to keep the Dorinda pipeline going.
Yeah.
Or else Housewives of New York is not going to have a new cast every 10 or 15 years. You know, you need that tough, gritty, eccentric New York lady to then just impress enough, cause enough trauma on her daughter so that she becomes, and then you keep the cycle going. It's like the Fire Nation.
I don't know anything about Dorinda because I don't watch New York Housewives.
No, this is just the vibe I'm getting from her, you know? She's going to raise a kid who wears turquoise in her 20s.
She raised me.
Yeah.
I love turquoise. I get that from my grandma. Yeah, I feel like she would just be like a very overbearing, loud. I feel like she would actually be like my grandma.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the same.
Yeah, and without people like that, the Italian population would die. So
yeah,
very
you need
essential.
Stereotypical Italians to keep producing more stereotypical Italians.
Yeah, she's a breeder.
Yeah,
is what we're saying. She's a breeder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she'd definitely be like a very intense mom. She's screaming at school plays. She's calling the other girls in her daughter's class a bitch.
Oh.
Yeah, literally. She'll drive to another girl's house who's bullying her daughter and like leave dead fish in a plastic bag.
Yeah.
If she has a son though, that son could be the worst piece of shit in the universe, and she's not gonna say a word.
She's gonna be like, I love you.
Yeah.
I love you. You're my son. Of course I
Yeah,
love you.
yeah. That son is gonna
What
get.
am I gonna do? Not love my son? Come on, I'm a mother.
Yeah.
I always love my son.
Is she Italian?
I always love my son, no matter if he murdered
Her name is
somebody.
Dorinda Medley.
Dorinda B. Medlin. That should be her podcast name, Dorinda B. Medlin.
Well, she should have a podcast where she edits herself to be interviewing herself. And then it'd be the Dorinda Medley.
Dude.
Yeah.
And it's just like, she could edit it so that there's 3 of her.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're all just yelling at the same time.
It's just yelling the whole way through.
Yeah, because they'd all be speaking over each other.
Yeah.
Because that's what Italians do. We all talk loud at the same time.
So in conclusion, she's the reason why Italian Americans are still a thing. And also, if she has a son, he'd probably be like a bad man.
Yeah, but she would be like, I love you.
Yeah.
Do you need socks?
Do you
I
need
love
socks?
You're my baby boy. Of course, I'm going to love you. Have you been baptized?
Who's next? There's Wells. There's Robin. There's...
Oh, yeah, we never really talk about Wells.
Why would we?
I feel like Wells only exists in like a stepfather role where he's always trying to make the kid like him.
Yeah, in whatever parental role he's in, he's definitely not respected.
He's giving desperate stepfather vibes.
Yeah.
Always. Even if he is the main father, he's still giving desperate stepfather vibes. He's just like, hey, Tiger, you want to go
Yeah,
throw
he
the ball?
definitely hits the hey Tiger way too often.
Hey, buddy, you want to go get some ice cream? I won't tell your mom.
Yeah,
he gives those vibes.
He's bought the kid like 4 Xboxes. The kid still just calls him
Wells.
Mr. whatever his last name is.
He calls him Wells.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck you, Wells. And he's like, haha, you're
hey,
so
you
crazy.
don't got to call me Dad. You can call me W. Okay, Mr. Wells.
Okay, Wells.
I'm going to go back to doing my homework now.
Hey, you need help? I was really good.
No, I actually want to get a good score on my homework, so thank you.
Yeah, I don't like Wells.
You want to go throw the pigskin around, chimp?
Yeah.
No, you look like kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
And I don't think you got that arm on you. You don't have that dog in you.
You don't got that dog in you. All
Your
you're good
first-
for is making drinks on a beach in paradise.
Yeah.
You're not even good enough to host
You're a
it.
professional entertainment bartender. That's not even a job that
It's not a job.
anyone else has.
Or wants.
Yeah.
What are you
I can't
doing?
bring you to career day. What am I going to say? My dad serves horny people alcohol? Ugh, I just called him Dad.
And does
Sorry,
weird-
I meant Mr. W.
And does weird skits
Yeah.
that like he's making production let him do because they're like, well, he's been here for so long, we don't really know. Like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, he's never going to have a good relationship with a child.
Yeah. We're so mean. What is that, number 3?
I don't know. Maybe. Let's do 2 more.
Okay. What do we think Robin is like as a mom? I feel like she is for sure the disciplinary, but also like she's hot mom.
I don't know. I feel like she'd just be a normal mom.
Yeah.
I feel like she's giving like very like I like to keep my child private. You know, like their education is my number 1 priority. If they get obese, I'm going to introduce them to Michelle Obama. And she basically, I feel like she's going to be like just a very normal, like responsible parent.
Yeah. I feel like she definitely though is like the type of mom that has a clear like defining relationship with her kids where she's like, I'm your mom, not your friend.
Yeah, 100%.
Like she has no problem whipping them into their place.
And she doesn't seem like a parent who would favor one sex of child over the other. Like if you're her son, you're getting
taught how to treat a lady right.
Yeah. And if you're a lady, you're
not a slut.
Yeah, exactly. Very traditional parent.
Yeah.
She's from Salt Lake City, right?
No, I think she's Real Housewives of Potomac.
Oh, in Washington?
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like that's correct. I think that's correct.
Yeah, but she's definitely giving like, I'm not fucking around with you.
Yeah,
and
like
I'm going to raise, all her kids are going to go to Ivy League schools.
Yeah.
They're going to end up like, there's no way in hell her kids are ending up in entertainment.
Yeah. No, she won't let them.
They're going to be doctors. They're going to be doctor lawyers.
I feel like actually she would support them doing whatever they want, but she's definitely the type of parent that's going to ask hard questions and be like, what's your backup plan if this doesn't work out? Where are you going to go after this? You can't just do this one thing forever. Like if her kid was like, I want to be a model, she'd be like, great, what's your backup plan for when you lose your looks?
Yeah. Shout out to Robin, man. Adopt me.
Yeah.
Actually, Robin is kind of like my mom.
Robin's hot too.
Yeah.
Like, like her kids are like, oh.
But she definitely shuts it down if her son's friends are like getting too friendly with her.
She's like, haha, you're a boy.
Yeah. It's Mrs. Dixon to you.
Yeah.
Miss Dixon. I don't know if she's married.
It's Mr. Dixon to you.
it's Captain Dixon to you.
Okay, who else?
It's Commander Dixon to you. It's President Dixon to you.
It's President.
It's Supreme Leader Dixon to you.
It's Emperor Dixon.
It's Galactic Supervisor to you.
Okay, who else?
Would Tom Sandoval be as a parent?
Kind of also, I think, similar to Wells, where he's just like a stepfather who's desperately trying to get the kid to like him.
Yeah.
Because that's all he's always trying to do is desperately get people to like him.
Yeah, I definitely think that he would make his kid like a project for his unfulfilled dreams.
Yes.
Like he's joining a band with his kid and 3 of their friends.
Yeah, he definitely gives like Tiger Dad, like if his kid is in any sort of performance, he's like...
He's doing the dance mom thing.
Or like if his kid is in band, he's like, oh, you know what? I could join with my trumpet. I'm really good on the trumpet. He's not good at the trumpet. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But he's like, say, kiddo, could I join you while you toot your blah, blah, blah?
He'd kind of be like my dad. He's just going to be like, I'm an expert in everything.
Insult to your dad.
No, my dad is like that, though. He's like, he pretends like he knows everything. And I feel like Sandoval would be the same way.
Yeah, Sandoval definitely is like, oh, I know how to do everything
He's like,
secretly.
Son, don't worry. If you're having trouble doing this thing, I'm an expert in it. I'm an expert in limestone.
I'm an expert in destroying the lives of women.
I'm an expert in sedimentary rocks. I totally know all about
sedimentary rocks.
I know all about sedimentary rocks.
I know all about.
Have you heard about the G chord?
Fossilized.
I kind of made
wood.
like the G chord popular.
I invented the G chord.
Yeah, Tom Sandoval and the Most Extras really put G chords on the map. That's what he'd be as a parent.
Yeah.
It was a sneeze.
A sneeze that's just always waiting to come.
Yeah.
But it never does.
That's kind of his personality, is just like it went
away. Oh no. Yeah.
I actually think he'd be a very attentive father.
I think he'd be too attentive.
Yeah. Like he would get involved in his daughter's sex life in a way where he's like trying to be liberal, but it comes
really
across creepy.
I just hope for the sake of humanity and for the sake of his future children, I hope he never has kids. Is that too dark?
Why is it dark? No.
I don't know. Is that too like mean? I just don't think he should be allowed to breed. I don't think he should breed. I don't think he should reproduce.
Yeah, now it's getting dark. Now we're going down a eugenics path.
I don't think he should reproduce.
His DNA should not be allowed to perpetrate in our gene pool.
You know who else shouldn't be allowed to reproduce, but it's too late? Jax Taylor. 2 people that should not be allowed. And also Tom Schwartz, I think. Any man that's been on Vanderpump should not be allowed to have kids.
Damn, dude. You heard it here first. Chemically castrate every man on Vanderpump.
Including Ken.
Yeah.
Even though he's too old.
He's already chemically castrated.
Yeah, by Lisa. Lisa did it herself with her own hands.
Yeah.
And then the dogs were all watching and barking. They're like...
There was a wind blowing through the room.
Through Villa Rosa. And then Ken Todd is like, I can't believe I'm never going to have a kid again.
All right. And that's been the games. And thank you for watching. And we're very happy that this has been a really excellent season of Traitors. And if we see something else fun, we'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, you'll hear it here first. We're the ones who are always telling you guys first about what's cool on TV. Nowhere else, just here. Yeah. This is where you get your source of entertainment for entertainment.